Hi everyone, and welcome to my monthly setup. This time I'm going to be prepping all of the pages that I will be using for May. And these specific pages are what I like to refer to as project pages. Sometimes they're more separated into like subject matter. A lot of them are kind of like trackers, but for each subject, my trackers change just a tad bit. So I wanted to go over with you how I plan to set it up for this month. Please forgive my hands. I am trying to film this in between little sessions of me also painting. So it's been a very busy week. And this is the main stickers or theme I will be using for May. So lots of pink florals, and I'm very excited to get started with it. I had been considering a couple of different options for this monthly sticker. I wanted to use it as my main title page to start off all of my monthly notes pages. So I was initially thinking about putting it like this vertically so it could take up most of the page, and then I also liked it horizontally, but what I didn't like about this setup was that I would have to cut quite a bit of the flowers off on the sides. So that led me to consider, hey, what if I use both pages and set it up horizontally so I can keep most of the flowers? But it looked a little odd with the white space at the ends. So I kept my initial idea of having it vertical, but on my left page instead. And before sticking it down, I went ahead and started recreating my new border of the month. Again, this border is what I like to use or set up in order to visibly see what month is which. So for every month is a different color and a different type of border. This particular month I picked up this Tombow that matched really well with the sticker set that I had, and it's just kind of like a little straight line with dashes in between to make it look more like a ribbon. That essentially wraps up the setup for my title page. In the future, I will go ahead and write a little bit of a journal on the right side, but that's overall it just for my pre-setup. Now, on this other section, I am going to load this with information because here is where I will have my work tracker. Now, how I set it up for April worked so well for me that I'm just going to essentially do a duplicate of this. I'm just going to change a little bit of the information around so it can better fit the stickers that I will use this month, and obviously change the colors and the decorations a bit, but overall the main chunk of info will stay exactly the same. I like to use a habit tracker to note not only my daily tasks but also my weekly tasks, both combined into one. My only thing that I do have to talk about this is that I find setting up these trackers so time consuming, and I do not enjoy setting up the template for the page. I love adding the stickers and decorating it once it's all down, but just drawing in the boxes of how the text is going to be and everything, it is not pleasant, and again, very time consuming. So thinking ahead of when I'm going to have my second baby, I don't think I'm going to be wanting to do that, or maybe even have the time to do that. So prepping ahead for that, I have bought some pre-printed habit trackers that can fit in my mini HP, which is a size that I know I definitely love. And hopefully, if I ever feel tight on time and I don't want to draw them out, at least I have those pre-printed versions. I think the only issue will be that I will not be part, obviously, of my book-bound planner. It would have to be separate, but at least I don't have to set up as much. I just need to write in my information and not draw out all of the boxes and the numbers and whatnot. I hope it serves as a good option, and to better plan for it, I did my habit tracker in the same size of lines, horizontal lines that the printed version comes in. Like that I can double test if it is enough space for me to track everything that I need for work, I am going to collide a couple of tasks together to better fit them into that 19 line slot. But overall, I loved how this came out. As a final decorative element, I did decide to slightly color in a very light ribbon that went through the habit tracker, just so I could still see my information, but have that little decorative piece in there. And that marks the end of the work tracker, or my work pages. For anyone else who also uses the book-bound planner, you know the struggle of just like flipping through those pages, trying to find the exact one that you want to work on. I've really been having an issue with that, and I know having an index is a thing, but I don't want to have to flip to an index, look up the page number, and then count through my pages and like find the page number. Like, it's just, I find it so unnecessary. I just want my mind to know where to go to exactly for a particular page. That's how I want my planner to work. I don't want to have to find an index and then find the page number. Like, it's too much. Little things like that throughout the day just add up. So in order to make it easier for my mind to know where each thing is, I'm setting up my project pages in the order that I would go about my day. So for example, the first thing I do as I start off my morning is go directly straight to my work. And that's why I set up my first project page as my work setup. Afterwards, I hit my personal routine, my personal life AM routine. So that's why as the second set of project pages, I'm going to hold all of my routines in there. I'm hoping that this helps it be easier, like as my day goes on, for me to just flip onto the next note page. I do have these top tabs that divide my weekly and daily and monthlies, which have been working wonderfully for me. So I just use those tabs to get to those places. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why don't you use tabs also for your project pages? And for these, they're just so back to back that I would be having a tab after every page that I don't really find that necessary. At least for the tops, you're talking about different chunks. But at the bottom, I just need to know mentally, remember in what order my project pages are at, since they are really all back to back. And I only have about, I want to say 5. So that's my thinking behind that. I'm hoping it plays out well. This is my first time trying to set them up in this manner. And just wanted to share that tip in case you guys were also having that issue. On previous videos, I think I had also shared how I was initially trying to track all of these morning, afternoon, and evening tasks on my weekly, and then just having like a small habit tracker for it. But they were just so many things that I realized that it'd be just so much easier if these were all on their own habit tracker as well. So I had kept a couple of notes in my April pages of like different things for me to consider for each chunk of my day. So what would be some good morning tasks, what would be some good afternoon tasks, and some evening tasks. You guys get the gist. So all of these, I combined them into one monthly habit tracker to track all of these daily to-dos. Another troublesome spot that I had was how to best track my daughter's curriculum. So the answer I had found before was to have it on my weekly setup, but I'm not gonna lie, it's getting a little tight with information there. And also, I typically like to pre-set up my week right before it starts, and it's hard for on a Monday to write stuff in because I just want to get started with my typical work tasks and other things. So it would be easier to already have that information written down. And just so I won't have to look it up through like different notes pages, I thought that it would be best to have each weekly curriculum for the month just separated in 2 pages. I had also been keeping a habit tracker of the different activities that I wanted to do with my daughter, and I'm going to have a monthly tracker just for all of those to be in 1 page. So all of that information is going to be in 1 section, and this is going to follow my AM routine. So after I take care of my personal things, then I have her curriculum, which is typically the next thing we do after having breakfast. So it's still following that daily schedule order. On the list, I wanted to have a space for me to better break down all of my May goals. Now, these are already written down in my quarterly page, but I like to break them down a little further to know how exactly I'm going to achieve these. So for this set of pages, I went ahead and drew a couple of boxes that would represent each week of the month. And then on the opposite section, I went ahead and wrote in all of my tasks that I wanted to complete, or the tasks that I needed to complete in order to meet those monthly goals. For any of you who are interested in how this whole process goes down in my head, then be sure to be following along for my upcoming videos, because I did record how I not only read through my main goals, but then also how I break those down in order for me to better see how I could achieve them on a weekly, smaller, digestible task setting. The final spread I created was for tracking my YouTube videos. I have found that it's a lot easier for me to plan out what to record next to have just additional content throughout the week versus just my weekly setups. So a layout that really helped me out, it's something I tested out for April, is having a tracker to show like where the video progress is, like if I have already recorded it, if I've worked on editing it, or if, let's say, all I'm missing for it is a cover. Just having those steps, because sometimes I'm working with multiple videos at a time, has really helped clear out things. So on this paper, I wrote out little things that I wanted to change for my next template. Since it was the first time I set it up in this version, I left little notes of like, add this to the mini calendar, or add this to the boxes, just so I could keep track of the changes I wanted to make for this following month. With regards to additional function for anyone else who likes to post their videos online, I like to use my mini calendar to highlight the days of when I actually uploaded something, when I uploaded something publicly onto the platform. As mentioned previously, the tracker shows me how far along each video is, and for this month I added 2 additional categories. One for me to note the date that it was published, but also I have a goal for last month. I had a goal that I wanted to each video at least get 20 views. And I know that sounds very low, but the way I was seeing it was like, imagine 20 people in my living room. And that seemed like a lot. So I was like, hey, if 20 people are showing up to watch this video, that's quite a bit of people tuning in. So I'm gonna go a little bit more lofty, and my goal for a successful video this month is going to be to have at least 70 views after 2 weeks. So if it does get that, that shows me that I am, you know, publishing things that do seem interesting, at least to a very small demographic, but it does help me feel a little bit more accomplished. I think 2 videos a week is a healthy place for me to start right now. So in my left side of the page, I did set up each week with 2 boxes to represent those 2 videos. So like that, I can write the title, and the additional space is typically used for me to note any particular thing I would like to mention or any particular edits that I would like to do, any additional things that I would like to have in the description, just things like that that I want to make sure I don't forget, little details about the video, maybe a way I want to decorate something. It's not too formal, I guess, in the information that goes there. I just wanted to give my brain somewhere to jot down any little ideas that bumped into my head for particular videos. Of course, our decorative elements could not be missing from this, and I particularly like to highlight the amount of subs that I have so far with a sticker. So I chose this nice pink ribbon to write down the number of subscribers so far at the start of the month. And you have to agree that this other sticker was just perfect for this page, being that the channel truly is, everything planners and, writing down on books. I thought this little particular girl fit so well with the whole theme. Like, obviously it is part of the sticker pack that I bought for this month, but it also matches perfectly with the content of the channel. So I just briefly did a little scribble underneath to give her a bit of a background, and I just love her there. The final thing that I just wanted to have pre-decorated, but I didn't have to set up, was my actual monthly calendar that is already provided in the Common Planner. This one, so far, every month I've just been decorating it, obviously with the theme color and theme stickers, but I only write down on it whenever a relevant memory happens throughout the day. So if something nice or just something I want to remember in the future occurred on a particular date, I will just go ahead and write it on the day that it occurred. I am also coloring in the boxes of the days we have travel, but I do not write where we went to until it actually happens, because what I actually want my monthly pages to serve me as in the future is whenever I open back this planner, I can quickly see, the essence of what the year was about. Like, I don't not care of when doctor's appointments were or when bills were due. I just want to see what things happened throughout each month. So that's my plan for it so far right there. And here is the grand finale of my May setup. For my monthly, overall, it stayed fairly empty. Again, as memories come up and things that I want to remember happen, I will go ahead and jot down those memories here. These right here are essentially productivity bars and mood trackers. I found that it really helps me to write them out in this manner versus having them just on the bottom like I did for my January. I don't know. This doesn't give me as much information as the clarity of seeing it how I was on Tuesday to the rest of the week. I'm not sure why, but it just helps my mind be more at ease. So I'm sticking to that process again for this month. And as mentioned before, I do not keep like appointments or bills due or anything like that here, but I do like to have sticky notes that I cut to size to mark any relevant things that I do want to remember throughout the month. So that is what I use those for, just to keep things a little more flexible. And that's so far my monthly pages. As for on my notes pages, this is the title page that I wanted to journal on. I'm really bad at journaling. I always try to have that goal to journal at the start of the month, but it rarely happens. I may just use this for something else as the month continues if I don't end up writing anything on it. But so far, that is my plan still, to go back and put some journaling down here. After that, I have my work set up. On this weekly commitment section, I will have this small sticky note in which I will update every week, marking what are my weekly commitments for that week. So again, that allows me to have different things in this section. And then the things that I can see throughout the entire month, I can go ahead and write directly on the paper. So since the month already started, you can see I already have some things checked off, and this is what it's looking like so far. My daily routines, you can notice I've already skipped a couple of days, but this was the final for it. And again, the sections here that I skipped make it look like I'm missing stuff, like if it wasn't filled out. So this will definitely have some future edits in the future. Future edits for the following month, but these were the decorative stickers that I think kind of helped bring it a little more together. Not so excited about using this, but hopefully it does help me keep a little bit better track of all of the tasks I have to do on a daily basis without having to write them down as often. As for my daughter's curriculum, I really loved how this template came out. I think it will serve me with everything that I need to remember. I haven't written down all of the things for every week, so that's going to be the actual kicker to see if this will work or not. But I'm being optimistic as I really think it fills all the gaps of what I have been searching for. But we'll find out as the month progresses. For my weekly reminders pages, this essentially gives me a game plan for how to address my month week by week. This definitely took me a little while to figure out. I'm thinking here about putting in like the main monthly focus, and I was thinking about breaking down a big project here, whether that being my mudroom or painting the cabinets, but I'm not too sure there. Down here, I just put a couple of reminders of things that I want to make sure I'm tracking week by week, just highlighting those 3 things. A big scope of things that I have to remember for every week, and then over here, I use the Alistair method to kind of make myself a timeline of when each thing has to get done, and things that have to be done on a weekly basis just have the dot all across. So that's how I set that up. Again, if you guys want to see a better view of how my mind broke this down, be sure to be subscribed for that upcoming video. My YouTube, oh my gosh, this one came out so gorgeous. I've already got some information put in there. I definitely love this girl who's going to be joining me throughout the month, and this setup so far seems to be doing the trick for what little information and details that I need added as well. Right here, I'm thinking about putting in the sticker sheets that I use throughout the month, just so I can know which ones they were, and so I could share that with you all. But I very much enjoyed setting up this May with all of the project pages and goals. I'm really looking forward to starting off this month, and I feel a lot more grounded and at ease about the things that I want to get accomplished. I hope you guys got some good ideas from this setup, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.